Yo, what is good with y'all? It's your boy KAG, and today we're gonna be talking about the Nintendo NX and whether or not it really matters, whether or not it's AMD or NVIDIA. And so without any further ado, let's go ahead and let's hop into this video. Now, this one is a response to the video put out by Super Metal Dave, Player Essence, as well as Dr. Trey. Everybody did a video on whether or not it really matters who they actually choose to actually be the one that actually goes ahead and actually runs the Nintendo NX. And so, my short answer is no, it doesn't matter, but in the long run, yes, it really does matter, and I'm gonna explain why in this video. Now, in regards to them going with AMD, right now, if they went with AMD and they went with a Polaris 10 or 11 and put in there, then everything would be great, everything would be kosher, because Nintendo would be on spec, on par with everybody else, and that's all Nintendo needs to do. They just need to be on par with everyone else, because if they're on par, then that means that they can technically get any third-party games that will come out for PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. That's all they need to do. They just need to be able to reach that level right there, that hotspot, you know, because whether or not it's more powerful or not than the current generation of them, it doesn't really matter, because as long as they're going to be making games for PlayStation 4 or they're going to be making games for Xbox One, you know, it doesn't really matter, because if they're on equal playing level, they can technically get third-party support. Now, does that mean they're guaranteed to get third-party support? No, it doesn't mean that. It really is going to depend on how Nintendo's audience does. Is Nintendo's audience going to support third-party games? Are they going to be large enough? Is the NX going to sell enough units for third parties to think that it is worth their time to actually port a game over to the NX? That's what it all depends on when it comes to whether or not third parties actually go ahead and they support them. That's the issue with EA right now. That's the issue with Activision. They're like, is my Madden going to sell? You know, are my sports games going to sell on your console? You know, is my Call of Duty going to sell on your console? You know, this is what really matters. So if Nintendo can get on the equal playing level with them, then it's really not gonna matter. But the reason why it actually matters in the long run, as far as whether or not AMD is chose or NVIDIA is chose, is because of the way that the actual console generations are pretty much evaporating. They're pretty much going away. So if you actually notice, like, now we have the PlayStation 4 that is currently out, and supposedly by the end of this year we could possibly have the Neo, or next year we could have the Neo. And you know, that was in a very short amount of time. And if you look on the Xbox side, they have the Xbox One, they have the Xbox One S, and they have the Scorpio coming next year. So, you know, console generations are slowly but surely disappearing. And on top of that, we have the note that, you know, PlayStation and Xbox are both saying that they're no longer going to just have just games for the future consoles, right? So it's gonna support current PlayStation 4, is gonna support PlayStation Neo. Same thing on Xbox side. Any game that you can play on Xbox One, you should be able to play on Xbox One S, as well as you should be able to play on Scorpio. You know, at least that's what they're saying for now. Now, moving along from there, we're looking at Nintendo. Nintendo is about to release their first console. I guess you would call it their first console, after, you know, the flop of the Wii U and how it didn't sell well. So that's the real honest reason why Nintendo is actually releasing a console now. As regards to Xbox and PlayStation, I'm not exactly sure. Both of those consoles are doing pretty well right now. But, like I was saying, the generation gaps are going to be disappearing. So, any game that you're going to purchase from now on out, you know, until the end of gaming time, or maybe 5, maybe 10 years, 15 years, you'll be able to play on their future consoles. Now, The reason why it matters in the long run, whether or not they choose AMD or NVIDIA, is because of the way that tech progresses. Now, if you look at AMD, right now, they have a powerhouse of a GPU in that Polaris 10, solid 60 frames per second. We're getting great visuals. Everything is looking great with AMD right now. Now, if you look at the NVIDIA Tegra, we have them saying, oh, you're going to get about Wii U power level with an X1, between Wii U and, Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, they're saying about that power level, right, if they go with an X1. Now, however, we do not know what the X2 is. Now, if you look at what they're saying the X2 is, we're looking at PlayStation 4 quality graphics, right? Now, remember what I said earlier when I said that it just matters that they equal out on level with them? Well, that's all they need to do. But the reason why it's actually going to be more of a benefit for them to go with the NVIDIA Tegra series of chips is because mobile progresses faster than your traditional GPUs. So currently you have the Tegra X1, which is on PlayStation 3 quality of graphics / Wii U quality of graphics. However, the supposed X2 is going to be PlayStation 4 graphics. Now, let me remind you that the Tegra X1 only came out between a year and 2 years ago, right? Now, with this being like on PlayStation 4 quality level, the next iteration is probably going to be double that. So, if you actually look between the separation of GPUs, a traditional GPU is not progressing as fast as mobile GPUs. Mobile is actually progressing at a much faster rate than your traditional, tech there. They're moving at a much faster rate than your traditional console. And eventually what is going to happen with them actually allowing, games to be passed on and on and on without actually having a separation between generations, what this is going to allow happen is NVIDIA, the Tegra series, the mobile chip side of things, is going to surpass the traditional GPU. And it's going to pass it at a much faster rate. And because mobile GPUs are constantly evolving at all the time, and they're constantly getting faster and faster and better, and they're getting more improved throughout every single iteration, because if you look at mobile phones and tablets, devices and stuff like that, you will see that it's progressed extremely fast, right? So eventually what is going to happen is this mobile chip is going to pass your traditional console chip. And on top of that, with it being a mobile chip, it's also going to allow it to be able to be input inside of many more devices. So you'll be able to see it in phones, you'll be able to see it in tablets, you'll be able to see it in handhelds, you'll be able to see it in traditional consoles. And with it being like that, for example, if you look at, let's say, the current Shield units, right? They're powerful devices, but notice what they're able to do. They're able to put it in, Shield tablets. They're able to put it in Shield portables. They're able to put it in, Shield consoles. And so they're going to have a little flexibility with what they can do with their actual chip. So if they wanted to, if Nintendo finally decided to bite the bullet and say, hey, I want to put out a cell phone that people can play games on, they'll be able to do that because the mobile tech is going to be there that they can do that. Now, with that being said, you also have to consider that they also supposedly going to be using ARM. If they use ARM architecture is made more for mobile. As far as, keeping power levels down, being able to have a lot of power on the go, in a mobile device, a small form factor, mobile would technically be the better way to go than your traditional GPUs. Just like you have these big graphic cards that go inside the desktop computers, it's going to pass them eventually. It may not pass them this gen, it may not even pass them next gen, but eventually mobile tech is going to pass traditional tech. It's going to pass, traditional GPUs. And so you gotta weigh all of this stuff up. So yes, in the short term, yes, it would probably be better for them to go with AMD. However, in the long term, they'd be better off going with NVIDIA and a mobile chip and a ARM-based architecture, because it's going to allow them for more flexibility. So you're not just limited to a traditional console. You can also have mobile units. You can have these smaller devices. They can actually be passed out there and have several different reiterations of what would be your normal console. But anyways, let me know what y'all all think about all of this. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. Now, I know a lot of y'all come here and y'all deliberately hit that dislike button, but it's all good because we all family here. And apparently y'all like Nintendo videos if y'all are coming here to watch my Nintendo videos. But anyways, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe because we talk about all things Nintendo. And yes, it doesn't matter in the short run, but in the long run, it does really matter. So, yeah, I'm out of here. Peace.